Well, what a frustrating week so far. It's just been up, down, everywhere. End of the day, down $415. If I told you that I wasn't frustrated right now, I'd definitely be lying. So let's go ahead and get started with the um, market open recap this morning. Now, GIS being my main candidate for a short. And when I do have losing days, I try to tell this to myself: is if you didn't do anything wrong, there's really no reason to be mad on yourself. And would you take this trade again tomorrow? Most likely, yes. So can't really be too mad at yourself. It's not my week right now. So definitely that put me red on the week, down like 400 something bucks on the week so far. But we still have a couple of days to try and make that back up. Now, the first trade I took was on GIS. I probably shouldn't have taken double size. Although since it was floating around the 45 mark when I shorted it, I probably should have gotten out half the shares. I contemplated it, and I really should have listened to my instinct there on that one. So initially, GIS, it was gapping down from 50. It opened up here around the 45 mark, and right in the very first candle, went up, down. Very next candle came all the way up, and then failed. So what is this? This is telling you that it's coming up and it's just failing. So I told myself, okay, well, if it goes under 45, I'm going to short it with a stop up here at 45.50. So 200 shares, if I doubled in size, that's the 400 shares I took short. Now, very next candle, triggered under 45, and as you can see, the very next candle bounced very, very hard at the 44.80 mark. Now, as it was starting to teeter-totter around here, I was actually thinking I should probably get rid of the 200 shares that I had, so I would go back to my normal size instead of doubling up. And I actually got out at 45.15, so I got out a little bit higher than I wanted to, but at least I took some of the risk off because the thing was not going my way. So I took it out at 45.15, and then I got rid of the rest at when I got near the top up here at 45.44. So it spiked. And yeah, I went ahead and got out of that. Actually, what I ended up happening is put my stop over here as it spiked up and failed. So I put my stop over that, and I got triggered right at right at 9:45. So it's probably this candle right here. Yep. So I got kicked out of GIS, down $171 on that. Now the next trade I took was on PRTA. Now this completely screwed me. Definitely took too much size on this. Now, initially, I was thinking this was going to be a short, but in the midst of looking at CRM, GIS, and PRTA all at the same time, I wasn't thinking straight or something. I'm not really quite sure what happened on that. But I actually ended up going long. Since it is with the trend, it's gapping up. I'm expecting it to move a little bit higher. I was thinking it was forming a bottom down here, and I wanted to go long over, let's see here. I had a horrible fill. I wanted to go in over 40.50. That's what I wanted. So over 40.50, I actually ended up getting filled at 40.85. That's part of the reason why I took such a large loss on that. 40.85, and with that, I had to stick to my initial stop. So let's see here. So if you can see this is selling off and then it's curling back up. I was expecting it to start coming back to the upside, but if you keep scrolling, you'll see that this is actually just a lower high. That is where I screwed up. This is just a lower high. I was thinking this was going to be a short. It's just, although going long would be with the trend, but if you notice on here, it gapped up, hit 42, and then it just kind of started selling off here. So right in here, right in there. That's what I thought was going to happen. So I thought it was just going to keep going lower and lower. And if you see, it actually kind of keeps going with the trend. Although typically something like this is not what I would go after because it is counter trend. But during the time, I thought it looked good, and unfortunately I doubled. Remove drawing. Unfortunately, I doubled down on it. And with PRTA, with getting such a bad fill, at 40.85. I ended up getting kicked out. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. Went long there. Got kicked out at 39.34. So from 40.85 to 39.34. Terrible. That's why I lost so much. Now let's see here. My next trade, covered PRTA, short on CRM. Right here. So I went short it right at 121. If you notice, it sells off, comes back, this random spike, and then it just kind of starts bouncing around here in this area. Now we have the whole number of 121, and so I went short right at 121 with my stop up here over the 121.60. I was risking about 60 cents, so I went 150 shares short. So, or 150 shares right there. It triggered, and as you can see, it actually, let's see here. It did trigger, but I believe I didn't cover. So CRM, short at 121. I covered at 120.80, so I think it ended up making a little bit of money, maybe like 20 something bucks. Didn't want to let it come back and bounce and go against me, which was the right choice because it actually ended up going up a lot higher. So covered CRM. Now at this point, GIS went against me. It was supposed to be a short, and it bounced and went higher. PRTA was supposed to be a long, that went against me, and that sold off. And now CRM has gone against me. So, so I took a little bit of time to cool off. Let's see here, CRM, short. Oh, wait a second. Short another 120.29, and then cover the other one at 21.60. Okay, actually, so I ended up losing a little bit of money on that. Oh, that's right. So I shorted it at 121 right up here. I covered a third. I re-shorted it here, I believe, 946. Oh, that was 942. Nope. Short again, so short 300 shares. Covered some at 120.29, and then the rest went against me at 121.60. So covered some. I re-shorted another 150, so I doubled down on this, and then the rest of the other ones went against me, unfortunately. Now after that, let's see here. I took a short on GIS. Like I always tell myself, it's always timing, especially with something like this. That if it's down that much, it's only a matter of time for it to come down. So let's see here. I shorted GIS right at 10.09, which was right here at the 45 mark probably. Yep. So right here as it broke down over 45, the stop was going to be here at 45.50. Shorted 300 shares, and then I didn't really quite like the action that it had on it. It wouldn't, you expect it to just kind of break down and go. So it didn't end up doing that, so I actually ended up getting out of GIS right at 45.06. If you're either be right or be right out. So although I could have gotten out of this way faster, I just chose to give it a little bit of time, but as you can see, GIS actually ended up climbing a little bit higher and higher and higher. So eventually I would have gotten kicked out, but I only ended up losing 7 cents on this. So next trade I took was on CRM. Believe I take this on the 15-minute. No, I took this on the. If I took this on the 5-minute. Okay, so probably somewhere around here. I was expecting it to break down under 122 and just kind of go. But I wanted to get in a little bit earlier and kind of base my risk off of this this trend line, which is higher low or lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So I went short right at 122.22 as it was breaking down right here. So at this point, I expected it to break down below 122, and I was gonna have a stop up here at 122.90. Went short 200 shares. Actually, no, I think my stop was actually 122.75. So I got in a little bit early with anticipation, and I ended up covering actually at 122.06. The reason why I covered at 122.06 is these are the three different time frames that I trade. The 1 minute, the 5 minute, and whenever you're starting to get later into the day, like past 10:30, 11 or so, I actually switch over to the 15 minute. So now you see this lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Now if you switch over to the 15 minute and you leave the 9 on there, what do you see? You see a perfect bull flag. So I actually ended up covering as I saw the 9 holding, and I decided to go long if it broke up and over this. So I anticipated the move, and let's see here. So I covered, went short, covered, then I went long, right at 122.29. Now I was just shooting for 1-to-1 just because I was, way down on the day. This is basically a perfect bull flag, but the thing is that it's actually going counter trend. If you remember, CRM is actually gapping down. So although it is a perfect bull flag and it would have worked to get 2-to-1 out of it, I wasn't gonna risk it basically. So this held. I went long over the highs. I ended up getting filled at 122.29. Sold 200 shares at the 1-to-1 mark at 122.62, and then sold the other at 122.68. But now, if I only would have held this a little longer and just waited for a red candle to kind of fill out, I probably would have gotten a lot better on it. So I went long somewhere around here, right? So it was breaking the trend line. Next candle to make a new high. This is basically just a convergence of all the patterns that I'm talking about all together. So I decided to go long, and I didn't have a single red candle until up here. So I technically could have held this until it gave me at least one 5-minute red candle, because I could have at least gotten to the 123 mark, and I would have been close to making the 2-to-1. So that is something that I could end up working with, but selling is such a difficult thing because you never really know where it's going to end up. You don't know how far it's going to go. It's impossible to know. You can try and hold as long as you can, because to me the level 2 was kind of just going back and forth in the 122, 122.68, 70-ish, so I decided just to sell it all. And obviously that was the wrong decision, but selling is just such a difficult thing because you never know how far it's going to go. Because if it did pull back, it could pull back all the way back to my entry. So there's different ways that you can go about selling. You can go until you have 2 red candles, until it breaks below the 9 moving average, until it hits your target. There's so many different ways of selling, and there's really no correct answer that somebody could give you that's saying, hey, this is when you should sell. The only correct answer that I can give you of when you should sell is greater than when it's 1-to-1, and if you don't like what's going on in the tape. You guys have probably seen me take less than 1-to-1, but that is because I don't like really the price action, what is going on during that time. So I go ahead and just take the small profits or the smaller profits during those times, although it didn't really end up hitting my target. So hopefully that helps you guys out, or kind of gives you an idea, because I do get a question sometimes of like, hey, when should I sell? Usually I do it by my target or price action. So if you guys do have any questions, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below. Make sure, if you guys are new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you guys have not joined our Facebook group, make sure to do that. The link is down below. We're over 6,000 members now. And as always, hopefully this week will get better for me. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.